Don't tase me, bro. Remember that saying? That was in 2004. My, how the years fly by. That was 2004 at a John Kerry rally, and some guy was being vocal, and the cops were taking him out, and he says, "Don't tase me, bro." Good to have you with us here on Ed Schultz News and Commentary, Facebook Live. You can give me a call. Lots to talk about. 202-909-1492. Dial now. You're in. Healthcare. You know, it is utterly amazing to me how the Republicans for 7 years can kick ass on Obamacare, and when they have their chance, they totally screw it. Repeal and replace, failure. Repeal and delay, failure. Skinny repeal, failure. The Republicans can't govern. That's what it looks like right now. And they're so worked up over Russia and sanctions just to be like the Democrats, they vote for them. But here's what really got me in last Friday night's vote was that Mitch McConnell said, well, it's time to move on. He ought to get a fuck it list. You know, yeah, F this and F that. Yeah, I can say that on Facebook. I mean, okay, to hell with healthcare all of a sudden. All of a sudden, we've had this huge problem, Obamacare. They've been talking about fixing it, but because they can't get a vote in the Senate, well, to hell with it, it's time to move on. And I applaud the president, and I'm not being a Trump apologist because I would have done the same thing, and I think you would have too if you care about this issue. The Senate Republicans are a bunch of quitters. They want to quit. Well, it's now time to move on to something else. Oh, the problem's just going to go away? Their whole approach to this has been fraudulent. Obamacare's not perfect, but millions of Americans are going to keep their insurance, especially the ones with the pre-existing conditions. Just like I said, let there be light, and there was light. I'm giving you light on the situation. We're high tech today. So anyway, I was really hot under the collar when this happened. But I'm just happy that Obamacare is still there. Pre-existing, everything about Obamacare is there. So what if the freaking rates go up? Rates are going up for everybody. Why do you think Obama ran on health care in 2008? Because the rates under Bush were double digit for like 7 years in a row on increases. We're never going to fix this unless we have universal health care. But anyway, and now I'm getting all worked up.
Do you think that Republican senators, I mean, is there any way they can come together? Because I feel like they tried every option on health care that was available to kind of fit the Republican narrative, and now they're back at it with nothing. I mean, I know you said, you know, they need to stick at it like Trump said. I mean, they've claimed that they were going to do that. But the fact is they can't get the votes because... No,
they can't get the votes. They can't get the votes because they're not people-oriented. They're profit-oriented. They're corporate-oriented. The truth be known, the lobbyists were writing everything the Republicans were voting on. These 13 jugheads that went behind closed doors, they didn't come out with anything that the insurance companies and the lobbyists didn't give them to put into the bill. And so they're not about people. They're not about curing. They're not about helping. They're not about alleviating prices. And this idea that the individual market has to be fixed, you still have the insurance companies looking to make a profit. And if a head of an insurance company doesn't make a 20% increase over what they did the year before, they fire his ass, give him a golden parachute, and bring somebody else in there, cuts and make it happen. It's real simple, real easy to figure out. And when you've got the pharmaceuticals and when you've got the insurance industry calling the shots, you can't expect the Republicans to do the bidding of the people. And this is utterly amazing. If you go back and see all the vilifying statements and the vilification that was done on Obamacare before it was passed and where they were then and where they are now, it's probably a low moment, a total low moment for politics in America, for any party to have to go through this. 202-909-1492.
Ed, we didn't get to talk about it. It's been a while since we've done one of these live casts.
Are you saying that I've been lazy this summer, playing too much golf and catching fish?
It's a busy time during the summer.
I got to get ready for the news at 8 o'clock, but whatever.
You know, what did you make of the 10 days of Scaramucci in the White House? It ended yesterday abruptly. I mean, how is this guy running his White House like this?
That's a great question. Trump has got a very flippant personality, and that's what's scary when it comes to nuclear weapons and dealing with other countries. I have to find some humor in this because there's a lot of crap going to hit the fan. First of all, I think Trump never really believed in Reince Priebus or Sean Spicer. Now, I'm going to get off the Sean Spicer bandwagon here for just a moment. He was totally misplaced. He lost his cool, he ran his mouth, he got emotional, and he didn't stick to his answers. And when he became a caricature on Saturday Night Live, I think it only got worse. And I think he felt comfortable being that way as a presenter in the White House press room because he knew everybody in the press room and has known them for years. So I think Spicer was not in the right job to start with. His demeanor did not fit. The other thing was, I don't really ever thought that Spicer knew exactly what Trump wanted. I think Scaramucci was just a bad call. Just a bad call. But I think that this general is a good call. I think Kelly is a good call because he's going to bring a different culture into the White House. And I think Scaramucci was put in place because Trump was pissed off that Jeff Sessions does not have any investigations going on to go after the leakers. And Trump, to this day, views that as completely disloyal, wants to get to the bottom of it, thinks that crimes have been committed, and really believes that there's something there. And so he's pissed off at Sessions because he won't do that. So he brings in Scaramucci. What does Scaramucci do? He comes out and points the finger at Reince Priebus last week, saying that he's the leaker, let him prove that he's not. Priebus never responded. So look, you've got all these Wisconsin guys in the White House that were connected to the House Speaker. You think the Speaker wants to know what's going on? Think about this. If Paul Ryan asked Reince Priebus, what the hell's the president's thinking? What's going on? Do you think a Wisconsin guy is not going to tell another Wisconsin guy who happens to be Speaker of the House what the hell's going on? And you think the Speaker of the House isn't talking to some of his buddies? I mean, Washington is a town of nothing where everybody's taking a leak, okay? I mean, that's just how it is. And so this wasn't hard to figure out. So what does Trump do? Trump loves generals. If you ever go to the Trump International Hotel in Pennsylvania Avenue, he's even got the Grant Room and the Patton Room. Kelly is going to bring a form of discipline. He's going to bring a culture. The culture is you are on a need-to-know basis. Brent, if you and I work in the press office at the White House and you're above me, you may know more than I know. I'm not going to know everything because I'm on a need-to-know basis. The tighter the news, the easier it's going to be to contain stories, to manage the White House, to put some structure. And then, of course, John Kelly is going to have the power to make decisions, and the president's going to have to stand behind him. See Scaramucci. His credibility was gone, lost his cool, nobody respected him. It was just a bad act, and it's over. So hopefully this is kind of a new beginning, and I hope it is, because I think there's a lot of things the country's got to address right now, and if the White House is in disarray, so I view this, then we're not going to be able to do it. So I think that this is a good move by Trump. I guess this is draining his own backyard or a swamp or whatever the hell you want to call it. And Priebus is a good guy. Both Priebus and Spicer were smart enough to keep their mouths shut when they left because they know they're going to be around Washington for a long time, going to be around politics for a long time, and someday they're going to want to go back and get Donald Trump's help and support in their endeavor, their next political move. So they're not bridge burners. They're smart about it. It was all good. Even Scaramucci said he wanted to give John Kelly a chance to go do his own thing. I mean, there's all this corporate shit going on, right? There's all these perfect corporate statements that are being made around all these people that are getting their ass kicked.
Are we going to see Reince Priebus as a lobbyist in Washington sometime soon?
You're going to see Reince Priebus run for governor of Wisconsin.
Ooh.
That's what I think.
There you go. Hot news right there.
And I think that you never know. You might even see Reince Priebus run against Tammy Baldwin, senator of Wisconsin. I mean, there's a lot of options there. They got to see. They won the majority back under his organization and guidance. There's no doubt he could run a staff. The question is, can he run Trump's staff? I think if you take the leaks out of the White House, you have a totally different scenario. Okay? I do. I believe that.
I just feel like, and this is just my commentary here, but, you know, and I know you might feel differently, but, you know, the way that Trump goes after these leaks, and now, I mean, I'll admit there are some things that you don't want out there and everything, but this is how news in Washington moves. I mean, everybody, it's, you know, what you know, and there's always unnamed sources in the White House who are telling you about a dinner somebody had or a meeting or this is what they're going to do. I mean, frankly, I think that's how, you know, the Obama administration tested policies.
Well, that's how Scaramucci got his phone call with Reince Priebus and called him every name under the book, was that apparently some conservative talkers were over having dinner with Trump one night. Hannity was one of them, and that leaked out, and, you know, there was the firestorm when Scaramucci picked up the phone and dropped the H-bomb and everything else, every other bomb on top of Reince Priebus. And Priebus, or the reporter, should I say,
yeah.
Ryan, who was
Lizza,
that?
Ryan
Lizza, yeah. And who did some excellent reporting, and you know, it was rock solid in recapping the conversation. It's about the only good reporting CNN has been doing has been coming from him. Everything else is unnamed bullshit.
And then, you know, we talked about, you mentioned H-bombs, you mentioned nuclear codes, we got to talk North Korea.
Well, Lindsey Graham said today that a first strike's not off the table, or, you know, a first strike there's a possibility. Can I just say this that no one else in the media is saying? And I really do believe this. If you're going to hit North Korea and you plan on staying safe, you're going to have to hit North Korea so hard that they're not going to be able to respond. And if you do that, there's going to be a lot of innocent people who are going to die. So the question is, what kind of strike can we put on North Korea that is first strike, that they don't know it's coming, and that will be so devastating that there won't be a response? And if you do that, how is the United States going to be viewed in the world? How will Russia react? How will China react? How will India react? There are some suggestions in conservative circles that the only way to stare down North Korea and to get China involved is to have Japan go nuclear and to have South Korea go nuclear. If you do that, then it looks like the United States is being the heavy hand by saying, all right, we're going to decide who gets nuclear weapons and nobody else is. So there are no good options at this point. This has snowballed over a number of different administrations. And the fact is, nobody knows what to do or have a perfect answer. There is no perfect answer, but there is an answer to stop North Korea's program, and that's to bomb the shit out of them and annihilate them to the point where they're not going to be able to respond. And if they do, they'd be so incapacitated, their response wouldn't be anywhere near what our first strike is. And so you're not going to be able to hit North Korea and pinprick them and think you're doing a strategic tactical nuke and taking out some A, B, and C targets and see what happens. No. Either they're going to die or we're going to die. And you have to make a decision on how hard you're going to hit them. That's how I say. I mean, why would we get into a confrontation where we know Americans are going to lose their lives? If we have a first strike capability, then that's going to be on the table. I'm not advocating that we do it. I'm just saying that if you do hit North Korea, that's the only way to do it. If you do it. If you hit North Korea, that's the only way you can do it.
Are you confident?
And nobody's saying that. No one is, no one, I mean, you know, you have to wipe them off the map. Seriously.
Right. Are you confident that Trump has the right voices in his head with Mattis? Now he's got John Kelly as his chief of staff and Rex Tillerson. are these the right guys? I mean, tell him and make sure that he doesn't go itchy trigger finger on it?
He's got a lot of generals around him. There's no doubt about that. So they would know how to do it. They would probably present the president with a number of plans, and then he would make a decision on what would be the best course of action. But when the president says, we will handle North Korea, and he said some derogatory things about China, it doesn't sound good, does it? Just makes me want to go to the tee box and watch the sky. Can you imagine living in the age of a nuclear strike?
I mean...
Could you imagine that?
Yeah.
I mean, look, this little bastard over in North Korea is, and you know what he's thinking? The last few guys that gave up their nuke problem, they ain't around to talk about it anymore. Saddam Hussein said he gave it up. We didn't believe him. Where the hell's he at? Gaddafi. All of a sudden, he turned to be a nice guy after the Lockerbie, Scotland bombing. A lot of Americans didn't forget that. He gave up his nuclear problem. Whatever happened to Gaddafi? He got cornholed by his own goddamn people. They just nailed him. And so what is Kim Jong-un thinking? Gosh, if I give up my nuclear program, where does that leave me in the world? The guy wants a seat at the nuclear table. The guy wants to be respected. He wants to run his regime, his society, his country the way he wants to. And I don't think there's any easy way out. And this idea about getting China involved, China's eating it up. They're loving the fact that we're in a quagmire, not knowing what to do or not having any good options out of this. China's not going to help anybody. China's worried about their own economy. Look at the expansion they're doing. Everybody's pissed off at Putin and Russia because of, they say, Russian aggression. You want to talk about aggression? Look what the Chinese are doing in North Africa. Look what the expansion that they're doing in the South China Sea and the way they claim territorial rights to the waters there. Look what they want to do with the Philippines and Taiwan. I mean, that's aggression. Putin's not doing anything anywhere near that. In the meantime, we're all focused on making sure the NATO allies who don't pay their goddamn bills are going to be protected by U.S. missiles. It's crazy is what it is. We're totally disfocused. And you know, if Trump says he's going to handle North Korea, I guess that means we're going to have a confrontation. What else? What are you going to go? Send Dennis Rodman over there to play basketball? You know what they're going to do? They're going to take Dennis Rodman over there. They're going to reduce the basket for to maybe 5 feet, where Kim Jong-un can feel big and dunk the ball.
Well, you know, we were talking about it this morning. You know,
they're going to make him feel big so he can dunk.
His old man, Kim Jong-il, was once reported that he shot a 34 on a golf course. That's 38 under par.
38 under par.
38
Okay, so that's an eagle on every hole and 2 hole-in-ones. I mean, it ain't going to happen. Come on. Was that their state news to put that out?
I don't know. I didn't see the scorecard, but it certainly is what he claimed. Anything else?
Yeah, there is something else that you brought that up. Senator Amy Klobuchar of Minnesota asked a question on the Senate Judiciary Committee the other day of someone who was testifying about sanctions and Russia and all this other stuff. Why RT America doesn't have to file or qualify or be registered. That's the word she used. Be registered as a foreign agent. Are you freaking kidding me? Do you know that not one U.S. senator has inquired about our operation? I mean, it's like they use us as a tool, as we're the total bad guys, and it's just total propaganda. Senator Klobuchar, you know, your father was a journalist. Can you maybe dig a little bit deeper and come on over to RT and we'll show you our studios. You can talk to our American employees who are graduates of American universities all over the country, who are journalists who are working. You want me, you want the rest of us to register as foreign whatever the hell? That's just how psycho it's gotten. And I really think that the vote on the sanctions in the Senate isn't exactly how they believe. It's just they don't want the commercial running against them when they go home that they did not vote for sanctions on Russia. They're weak on Russia. They don't want that narrative because the Democrats are pushing that narrative big time because Hillary Clinton lost and it's all Russia's fault. No, it's the people in Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, and Wisconsin that turned it around, that she had a lousy campaign. It's just amazing what's going on. Just crazy.
She's writing a book, to talk about how it was Russia and Comey's fault.
You know what? That's good toilet paper is what it's going to be. What do you think Comey's actions had an effect on voters? Come on. There's so many people in this country that hate Hillary Clinton that were ready for somebody outside to give it a shot to see what Washington was all about. And I don't buy that for a moment. There's nothing going to be in that book that's worth a damn, I don't think. Nothing revealing at all other than how bad her campaign is. I tell you what's going to be revealing is how she's still living in the dark about how she actually thinks they ran a good campaign. That Robbie Mook and his team did a good job. They should rename it Hillary Clinton, The Twilight Zone. That should be the title of the book. All right, I'm going now.